Hey everybody, it's Mike Venus, and I want to show you a technique. I learned this from DJ A1. Shout out to the 414, my hometown, Milwaukee, represent, right? And he was showing how you can basically turn the MPC into a 404, the SP404, but he called it the 414. Shout out to Milwaukee, right? So I watched the video. He showed it more using the clip launch, but it's the similar technique that most people use when using the SP404, right? Which is a portable standard sampler for this style of music of lo-fi chill out music. So I took I watched it and I took some of those concepts and I applied it to what I do. So I'm just gonna go through the process real quick, but I'm not gonna like I already did the beat and all that so that it's not like you have to sit here and watch me make it because I don't think nobody likes to sit here and watch me make a beat. Even though I think it will be very educational for anybody that's want to get into beat making or who only work with this device alone, no other external or additional equipment, but just have the MPC, right? So, I know that the SP404 is like one of the go-tos for lo-fi producers who use hardware, right? Or standalone gear, or who might use it in conjunction with something like their DAW like Ableton, etc. You know, even though on those most DAWs they provide similar effects that you can use to recreate that type of essence to your beat. So this is just for anyone that has the MPC. I would put this guy's DJ A1's videos in my description and in the comment section so you can go check it out, right? So what I did, I'm making a demo track for my Mike Venus Jazz Keys volume 32, which is not out. 21, 1 through 21 is out. You can go get that at cosnoverfierce.org, MV Loops. It's a must. Okay. So this is what I did, right? First, I put in my drums. So let's pull up a track that got my drums on it. So standard, what I like to use in lo-fi because I like to kind of keep the essence of a beat, but nothing too busy. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep it kind of like a steady groove. So I prefer to finger drum. Yes, I can program drums. It is a good technique to learn, but finger drumming kind of give you that natural swing or feel. So the way I have my pads laid out, if you want to know, this is my left hand on the far end. This is my right hand. So anytime you see the Afro Samurai tattoo, that's my right hand. You see this ring on this finger, I'm married, that's my left hand, so you know, right? So the way I have the pads laid out on the MPC, I have my hi-hat on pad 12. I have my main kick on pad 3, and I have my main stick on pad 11. And then my ghost notes, which will be like a kick that's lowered a little bit, or in this case, my snare. I mean, not my snare, my stick lowered. I have that on pad 10 for the stick and pad 2 for the kick. And basically, if you have, you more accustomed to making beats, back in the day, banging on the table at lunch or whatever with your fingers, or you played something like the bongos or some shit like that, congos, you use this rhythmic pattern. That's the layout. I have a more natural feel on this. I know a lot of people like to put the kick on the 1, stick maybe on the 2, hi-hat on the 3 and 4 for alternating and stuff. But I find that to be kind of not as natural. This is more natural because your hands is in a natural position. You know, you can get a more natural feel because you feeling it. So that's how I lay it out. Right? Now, on this program, I put a sidechain compression on the kick. So that's the mother ducker inputter. I put it on the 2 and the 3, right? So whenever I play my beats, the kick will trigger the sidechain, which is on my samples, right? And I set that to whatever the input number is so that, or that bus, so that whenever I'm playing those particular samples and I'm playing those drum patterns, they're not like getting mixed up, right? But it will allow the kick, which is dominating my low end. And really these beats for the demo track is really stripped down. I do that just because I don't want to make it too busy. Not saying that if I'm doing a full-on production of a beat, I will add more sounds, but I just want the general concept of a pretty full frequency spectrum, if you understand what I'm saying. So my hi-hat will kind of cover that high end. The samples, I make these loops. That's why I said, if you want the loops, go to Mike Venus Jazz. Oh, excuse me. They're the Mike Venus Jazz Keys series from volume 1 to 21. 32 will be coming out probably a couple weeks from now. But you know what I'm saying? I release these daily. I make these loops for people who make lo-fi, chill out music like chill hop, jazz hop, boom bap, or even, ambient, whatever. They're just basically chord progressions that I play on the Force, or if I'm on the MPC, I will attach my launch pad because I like to play chords. That's my thing. So I make these loops and then I chop them up and then I tune them down. Then, I go into the drum program and I, do the mute groups and I fool with the filter and then the LFO to give it the wobble. And I typically add on to those tracks in the effects program the mother ducker so that triggers the side chain, the air, lo-fi effects, and what else do I put on there? And EQ, the air para EQ, and I usually use the radio effect to kind of give you the feel that it is playing through some speaker. It's distorted. You know what I'm saying? I don't put the record crackle on these because I want the demo to be somewhat semi-clean. You know what I'm saying? But in my own preference, I probably would do that if I'm making a full-on beat, just a straight beat. So basically what I do, I will play the drum pattern, right? And then I will go and chop up these samples so you can kind of get a gist of what a sample might sound like. Let me go to my program, right? So I'll take a loop like this. Right? And I'll chop it up and I'll turn it into something like this. Right? So it has the lo-fi effect to it, right? Then what I would do, I will put my drums on it. So, I'll just play them and then I'll just use the first beat. So. right? Right. So after I usually use 4 loops, chop them up, tune them down, do the lo-fi thing to it, and I make 4 different drum patterns. And after I do that, I make the full-on beat, right? For the demo, right? What you would typically hear, right? It's about to switch to another beat. I'm gonna let you hear this first, and then I'm gonna show you what I did where I set up the Q links and put XY effects on the master to make that Sp414 effects, like tape delay, tape stop, beat repeat, low pass filter. I just use those 3, right? Right. So that's a standard beat, right? So what I will do to make this sequence, I will go to song mode, right? I will create 4 different beats. That's 4 beats, right? And then I'll go to song mode, and each beat is on a different sequence, and then I'll sequence it out so that I make one continuous beat, what you just heard. Then I will convert that to a sequence, right? Right. So then what I will do, I go to the master, right? And on the master, you can have 4 effects. So on the master, I put the error limiter, right? Just so that everything, it's like kind of like a compressor or like a bus, so that nothing's not like peaking and everything kind of gels. And then I add 3 XY effects to the master. So I put beat repeat low pass, right? And then I put a low pass filter with the XY effects, and then I put a tape stop, right? So then you go to your Q links and you go on the project, right? You clear out all that, right? You go to the master, and then you go to insert effects. So the way I have it laid out, I have on the first 4 Q links, right? I have the beat repeat. So let's just hear what that sounds like. Right? Right? So what I did, I put enable as the top link right here, right? I put the wet dry on the second Q link. The third link, I put the X axle, and then on the bottom, I put Y. So wet dry is always on full. And where the magic happens is that on the enable Q link, which is the top one, I put it on monetary. And I put it so that whenever I turn it, it will turn on, and then when I let my hand go, it goes off. So, like once again, and then with the XY, I can change it to get these different fills, right? And then on the second set of Q links, right, I set it up the same way. Enables at the top, wet dry on the second, XY is on 3 and 4 of that row, and this will be the low pass filter. I let go, it turned off, right? Perfect. On row three, that's where I have my tape stop, right? Same setup. Enable on the top, wet dry on the second, XY is on 3 and 4. And I have the enable monetary, meaning when I go to turn it, it turns on. When I let my hand go, it turns off. So let's hear what that's on. And then I can adjust the XY to affect how quickly I want it to stop. Stop real quick. Right? And I would suggest, right, and I might do this in another video, the XY is great. But another one that's really great is the touch. What's it called? It is called, just to see what it is, it's called the Touch FX. They put this on the latest update. That one is like, I would call it the multi, right? Because it has multiple different effects on it. And I'll do that in another video. So basically what I did, if you want a live performance, you can do that. Now, the way DJ A1 had showed it in his video, he bounced each, section of the beat or the beat itself and to a sample by bouncing the sample from the sequence all the way down, then put it in a clip program, right? So it's kind of like if you were using the Sp414, right? And he set up the effects on his cue links, right? So that if he wants to switch to a different beat, he triggered a clip and then he just played with the effects, right? Cool. Now, you probably like, well, bro, this is a long video. And it is, but I'm excited about this topic, so I'm going to go into it. So what I did, what you can do, right, because you got the whole song on a separate sequence, you go to the sampler, right, and you can set the time limit however you want, right? I know that typically 32 bars song mode is about a minute 30, a minute and a half, or whatever. I set it maybe a second or two beyond that, so I set it to like a minute and 32. And what I do, I play that sequence, right? And while I'm playing it, I fool with the effects, right? So while this is playing, right? Right? So I arm the sampler. I set it to resample left and right, right? Just like how you would do it on the SP. So while this is, when I push play and it peaks over the threshold, it will start recording. So while it's recording, now I just add in my live automation to the track, right? And what you get a full wave. I trim it up. Like I said, I always probably add like maybe a second or 2 seconds towards the end so I know where I can truncate it or trim it so that I can get it just right at 32 bars. And I did that, and this is what I came up with. Right? Perfect. Then you can go to song mode, set that sequence to the song mode, then export it as the track you want. So this is a great way to get that Sp404, 303, 202 type of effects onto your beat without having the SP. And I'm about being efficient. I know if I buy a new piece of gear, it's gonna take me time to master and learn that piece of gear. And I see a lot of people. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. It's all about clout and views and subscriptions and stuff. And you want to be in the now. You want to be relevant. But this device, and I know you could do far more on the live. I mean on the force, just because you got macros where you can set up multiple things to one Q link or to the pads or to the XY to the crossfader, so you can go crazy on the force. You understand? But if you got the NPCs, the one live 2 X, you can do this without having to run out and grab an SP if you don't have one already. I understand if you have one already and you kind of familiar with it because you had an older NPC or an older machine, or you just have it and you familiar with it. I'm not speaking to you, okay? More power to you. But I'm speaking to people who just like, look, I'm a minimalistic producer. I'm on a budget. You understand? I can't run out here and spend 2 G's on a brand new NPC, right? And the Sp414 or any of the older models, the 303, the 202, the Sp404SX, Sp404A, or even the latest one, the Sp404 MK2. You know what I'm saying? If you're on a budget. So this is a great way to still have that essence in your beat, but being in standalone with one device. And you can do this live, like DJ A1, he showed in his tutorial. But I'm just saying, if you're just making beats and you just focusing on production, you can do this at your house or wherever you are with your live or your X or your one. You know what I'm saying? And this is amazing. So shout out to DJ A1. Shout out to the 414 representing. And yeah, try it out. Let me know. Like I said, I'm going to put his videos, or I'll make a playlist and I'll put it in the description. You can go check it out. Support his channel. Support what he does. Support what I do. Subscribe. Follow me on Facebook at Mike Venus. On Twitter at Mikey Venus 2020. On Instagram at Mike_Venus1. And subscribe to all my streaming services as Mike Venus or Mike and J Venus. And oh yeah, and a lot of these lo-fi beats, I've been putting them on SoundCloud. I'm kind of waiting to get enough of these beats and to really perfect this technique so that I can make a beat tape utilizing all the beats I made from the Mike Venus Jazz Keys series, from volume 1 to whenever I choose to, make that tape. And I'll make that into a series as well. So, and I'll put that on streaming services as well. So, yeah, support what I do, and support people who are innovative with this machine. And with that, I say, Mike out.